Hello Live Wires, Heather Boyd Wire here.
Today I had a special request from Christina for bead caps with leaf shapes. I'll link up some other tutorials I have for bead caps made of wire, including one made with the Beadalon Contastic tool. You are going to need flush cutters, flat pliers, round pliers, and I have the Beadalon bail making pliers. And I'm using 22 gauge and 18 gauge artistic wire. So I'm going to start with about 6 to 8 inches of the 22 gauge artistic wire, and we are going to bend it on a bit of an angle and start forming the leaves. So I am using the tips of the Xuron tweezer nose pliers. These are very fine pliers that you can get some nice small details, and we are just going to form some diamond shapes to represent the leaves. As we create the leaves, we are going to bend the wire to the front and then to the back for the next leaf, just to keep them all on the same level. So we're going to keep going around, and we are making sets of 3 leaves. So we're going to keep going around to finish the first set, and we really want to hold the wire with the pliers and push with your finger to make a nice sharp bend. So there we have our first set of 3, and then we're going to bend it down for the next set. We want to leave between 1/8 and 1/4 inch between the center of the bead cap and the leaf. So now we're going to go around and bringing the wire to the opposite side of what we did previous to keep all those leaves on the same level. So now we're going to do the next leaf. Just go slowly with it. Take your time. Try to make them as small as you can. The size really depends on what size bead you are going to use. So we're just going to keep going around and around. And what we're making are 3 sets of 3 leaves. So now we've done 2 sets, and now we're going to bend the wire down to do the last set of leaves. So bend the wire out and around, and we're just making diamond shapes to represent the leaves. This works well with 22 gauge wire. 20 gauge might be a little thick, and 24 gauge might be a little bit thin. You can play around it. Sometimes it depends on the quality of your wire. I prefer the artistic wire by the Beadalon company. You can check their website, or I'll put the links to purchase on Amazon in the description below. So now we're completing our last set of 3 leaves. Just keep adjusting it as you go and try to make the leaves all the same size. Bringing the wire around and finishing it up in the center. Now you can press those sets of leaves down so they're even. So now the wires are going to finish in the center. This is how it looks before we twist the ends. And we want to make some tiny loops in the center of the bead cap. This is what we will stick the head pin through. So we're just going to make some centered loops in the middle of the leaves. Clip the end. Sorry, it got a little blurry there. We're going to do the same on the other side. So line up those circles where the loops will be. Bring the wire around to make a closed loop. We're just going to adjust it so it's nice and centered. Give it a little tug if you need to, and then clip that end flush. So from there, we're going to pinch it so there's no little pokey ends. Pinch the wire down, And that's how it looks when it's flat. And you can curve it out with your pliers before or after you put it on the bead. Now if you want to twist the wires, this is the second option. You're going to hold it firmly, take your flat pliers and twist. And that'll just give it a little bit of an extra detail with the twisted wire. So hold it firmly, twist a couple of times, and it'll hold those wires together and give it a bit of a decorative look. If you're worried about scratching the wire, you can hold it with nylon jaw pliers. Just go gently with your pliers. So we've done our 3 twists, and then you could make your loop in the middle after. I cut my wires way too long, so there it is with the twist and without the twist. There's the twisted one and how it looks when it's more curved. So from there, we're going to make our own head pin with 18 gauge wire. So we're just going to do a little loop, center it at the end of the wire, pinch it, and add our bead and then our bead cap. You see I hadn't curved it yet, but you can curve it first if you want, or curve it once it's on the bead. So I'm clipping the ends to about 3/8 to 1/2 inch, taking the end with my round pliers or the bail making pliers and bend it back and around to make a centered loop. This will hold the bead cap down. You can adjust it a little bit with your pliers, and then you can curve it around the bead if you haven't already curved it. Just using the tweezer nose pliers. You can use some round nose pliers if you prefer, and there's the finished piece with the bead cap and without the twists. So for this style, we're going to take 8 to 10 inches of the 22 gauge artistic wire in the silver color. And this one's quite interesting. It's less like a leaf, but kind of like a vine. And we're going to make a 5-point star made of little loops. So we're going to do 3 little loops and then work our way back and do another little loop, making them as small as you can with the precision round nose pliers. I'll link up these pliers in the description below the video. So we've made a little triangle shape with the loops, and then we want to keep making a bunch of these little triangles. So we're going to do another loop beside that one, and as before, you could do a loop to the front, a loop to the back, and they're all going to stay at the same level. So we'll keep going with our little loops. Just adjust them so they're right beside each other. If you use the tip of the pliers, the loops will be the same size. You can wiggle them around to be in the right position and keep going with it. And the goal is to make a 5-pointed star with loops. Would actually be a really cute design just for earrings as is, but you will see it's going to make a funky bead cap. Just pull the wire as you go so there's no slack, and remember to alternate twisting your wire to the back and twisting the wire to the front. These are one of my favorite pliers. Originally I had bought these pliers in Montreal about 35 years ago, and then Amber was able to find them on Amazon. So the very same pliers are still available, and they're great, good quality stainless steel precision round nose pliers. And we're going to keep going with this. You can see it's slowly becoming a star. And once you've done the 5 points, we're going to do a centered loop in the middle with the end, and then another one on the other side. Make sure they're centered and they're stacked one on top of the other for those center loops. And then we're going to get the Xuron micro shear flush cutters to give that a little clip on both sides. And then we need to push down those little pokey ends. Make sure the loops are closed. Same on the other side, and that's how it looks flat. And then you can curve it out with your pliers. And there you could make it simpler if you prefer. And from there, again, we'll take the 18 gauge wire to make a head pin, do a centered loop, and make sure you push in the wire so there's no scratchy ends. And I'm going to put on a glass faceted bead and then pop on our bead cap. This one's really pretty, very fancy. And from there, cut it to 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Take the end with the end of our round nose pliers, pull the wire back and around to make a centered loop, and it will also hold the bead cap in place. And give it a little pinch with the flat pliers. Close up that loop. And there you have your finished bead with the bead cap.
So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more wire art and jewelry making videos. And if you'd like to share photos of your wire art and jewelry, be sure to join the Wire Makers Club on Facebook. And if you'd like to check out my work on Etsy, my husband and I specialize in custom wedding cake toppers and funky jewelry. I also have a mailing list, so if you'd like to sign up below, I'll send you my Wire Art Essentials ebook.
You can get the templates in my Etsy DIY shop. Be sure to use the coupon code SAVE25 to save 25% when you purchase 5 or more templates, tutorials, or ebooks in my shop.
So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.